Hey, boys and girls. This week we are on Unit 3, Week 1. Pretty excited about that. We are moving into Unit 3, which is really exciting. And this week our concept is cultural exchange. So we're going to be learning about some different cultures and things like that across the world. Our essential question this week is, what can learning about different cultures teach us? And I want you to pause this video for a second and I want you to write that essential question in the reading section of your 5-subject notebook. So just that first section of your 5-subject notebook, you're writing the essential question, what can learning about different cultures teach us? Go ahead and pause and write that. I want you to look at this picture. Over the unit, we're going to be developing some cultural appreciation, which is an understanding of the quality or worth of the beliefs, traditions, customs, and arts of different groups of people. So what people do to celebrate and show their culture, and we're going to learn about that and how we can support and understand what other people believe in for their cultures. If you look at the woman in this picture, she is dancing, and we can tell by the look on her face that she's really happy about this. She enjoys what she's doing. And in many different cultures across the world, dancing is a way for them to express their cultural beliefs and their customs. And this woman is wearing wearing traditional African clothing, and she is performing a traditional African dance. So in your notebook, I want you to think about and answer the question, what can dance teach people about a group's cultural beliefs? So in our culture, we dance at different celebrations like weddings and things like that. We also dance during just to have fun, like at school dances and things like that. And dance is a fun way for us to express who we are and how we feel about things. And so how could learning about dance teach us about a different group's culture? So I want you to think about that for a little bit. Go ahead and pause and answer that in your question or in your notebook. And then think about, what are some other ways that people share their culture. So you are answering 2 questions. What can dance teach people about a group's cultural beliefs? And what are other ways that people share their culture? So I want you to pause now and answer that in your notebook. We are going to move on to our vocabulary now. We've got 8 new words this week. So as we go through these, you are now turning to the vocabulary section of your notebook. Vocabulary section of your notebook, and you are writing these down. So our first word is the word appreciation. And when you understand the value of something, you have an appreciation for it. So for example, in this picture, Graham showed her appreciation for my help by giving me a hug. And I know that a lot of times older generations will show appreciation by giving hugs. What are some other ways that you show appreciation for someone's help? I know that sometimes you might write a thank you card. You might just tell them thank you. In your notebook, go ahead and pause, and I want you to define the word appreciation. When you understand the value of something, you have an appreciation for it. So you're pausing and writing this in the vocabulary section of your notebook. Our next word is the word blurted. You're writing this in your notebook. The word is blurted. If he blurted the answer, he said it suddenly. And I know that's something we have happen sometimes in our classroom, right? For example, by mistake, I blurted out the secret about the surprise.
Blurted. If he blurted out the answer, he said it suddenly.
Oh, see how surprised he is? He wasn't supposed to say that answer, was he? or say that secret. So how would you feel after you blurted out a secret? I know that I might feel surprised. I might feel a little embarrassed that I blurted out someone else's secret. So the word blurted, you're going to write this in your notebook. If he blurted out the answer, he said it suddenly. Pause and write. Our third word, complimenting. When you say something nice about someone, you are complimenting that person. For example, complimenting me when I do well makes me feel pretty great.
When you say something nice about someone, you are complimenting that person.
Okay, so look at that video, the compliment. She gave the girl some applause after her guitar solo. So that would be a way to compliment someone. If you were complimenting a friend, what is something that you might say? Might you tell them, great job? Might you tell them, you look very nice today? Could you tell them, I like the way that you are a friend to everyone? Okay, so complimenting is when you say something nice about someone. You are complimenting that person. Pause and write. Our fourth word, congratulate. Congratulate means to give praise or good wishes for something that has happened. And you guys know what it means to congratulate someone. For example, after Nikki lost the race, she went over to congratulate the winner. Sometimes it's hard to congratulate people whenever we want to win something and we're doing the same thing. But remember, it's always something nice to do. What might you congratulate someone for? I might congratulate someone for working well with a partner. I might congratulate someone for winning an award. So be thinking about that, and I want you to write the definition of congratulate. Means to give praise or good wishes for something that has happened. Word number 5, contradicted. The baker's story contradicted or disagreed with the butcher's story. So to contradict is to disagree. For example, the witness contradicted what he had said earlier, and the lawyer pointed it out. So he said something opposite of what he said earlier. So when have you contradicted something that you had said previously? For example, I said that we would get extra recess, but we didn't really earn it, so I had to contradict myself and go back and say something different. So in your notebook, I want you to write the definition. The baker's story contradicted or disagreed with the butcher's story. Word number 6, critical. A person who is critical will find fault or have an opinion that something is wrong. For example, a critical person often finds fault with what others do and points it out. So always saying something bad about someone. So pointing out the bad things that they do instead of pointing out the good. So when have you been critical of yourself? Sometimes I'm critical of my teaching when I don't feel like I have done the best job I can do. So being critical is finding fault with what someone else does and pointing it out. So I want you to write that in your notebook. A person who is critical will find fault or have an opinion that something is wrong. Word number 7, we're almost finished, is the word cultural. When you research your family's cultural past, you learn about your family's customs, beliefs, and traditions. Languages, food, and celebrations are also examples of cultural differences. So maybe you have a family who makes a certain food for the holidays because of their culture. So what would be 2 examples of cultural activities that you might do? I know that we have a Native American tribe north of us, and one of their cultural celebrations is to have a powwow. So be thinking about that. And here's your definition. When you research your family's cultural past, learn about your family's customs, beliefs, and traditions is cultural. And our final word is the word misunderstanding. When friends have a misunderstanding, they fail to understand one another. And sometimes friends have a lot of misunderstandings, right? It's not that big of a deal, but sometimes it happens. So Mia wore the wrong clothes as a result of a misunderstanding.
When friends have a misunderstanding, they fail to understand one another.
So you can see Mia's neon green pants and hot pink shoes instead of her blue pants and white shoes like everyone else. So she misunderstood what she was supposed to wear. How is a way that you might handle a misunderstanding with a friend? Instead of just getting mad and pouting about it, how might you handle that? I want you to think about that and be ready to answer it later. So your definition for misunderstanding is when friends have a misunderstanding, they fail to understand one another. I want you to write that in your notebook. And when you have finished, you are going to be working on some grammar. So be ready to focus on that when you are finished. Also, you might want to take the time now and go in and do your building vocabulary or your vocabulary practice in Schoology.